Well, it's October, the nights are drawing in, the days are getting shorter, soon we'll be putting the clocks back, and before you know it, it'll be the January hiatus. So, sounds like time for another one of my In Practice blogs. Well, as I say, here we are in October 17. I think it's reasonable to say that everybody's aware that the previous timetable for MTD has been completely changed, and we now have a situation where it's VAT that's first in line, as it were, from April 19, with everything else from April 20. You can understand why they've gone with that on the simple basis that they think, oh, you know, everybody was already filing VAT returns every quarter, so it shouldn't be a major problem. However, they seem to have completely ignored the fact that in excess of 80% of VAT returns, that's over 80% of all VAT returns filed, are currently filed via the gateway, not from within software, which of course is what they're saying has to happen from April 19. So why is everyone filing outside of their software? Until that question is answered, I think there's going to be a lot of problems with the VAT filing from April 19, far more than I think the government are anticipating. And actually, I don't think it's going to be as simple as they think by any stretch of the imagination. I came across a fact that I thought quite interesting, and thought it appropriate to share with you. HMRC announced in their recent accounts that they'd written off 28 million of SA penalties and VAT penalties on the basis that it was not cost effective to pursue the money on a value for money basis. So that's 28 million written off over approximately 54,000 cases, which works out at an average of about £500 per case. So that's the actual monetary amount they've written off. What's not mentioned, of course, is all the wasted time and effort raising penalties, problems caused when the penalty arrives on the desk, the admin costs, etc., etc. 28 million over 54,000 cases. Worth thinking about, isn't it? Earlier on in this blog, I mentioned the fact that in recent HMRC accounts, they'd written off 28 million as being not collectible for SA penalties and VAT penalties. And it's worth remembering that it was in 2009 that we introduced the penalty being due where there was no tax liability. Yep, 2009. Here we are in 2017. And if HMRC really want to win the hearts and minds, not just of accountants, but of the taxpayers in general and the business world in general, is it not time that they thought about the fact that is it right to actually levy a penalty when no tax is due? Now, I fully appreciate that there is a responsibility to deal with your affairs correctly, and doing nothing really isn't an answer. But you know, if there is no tax found to be due, is it right and proper that we should be raising penalties? Especially if we then find out that we're going to write loads of them off. I think from 2009 to 2017, is it not time to think, yeah, time for a change?